How much is a human life worth? For Stony Williams, the answer was $15,000, the exact amount he paid to have his ex-girlfriend assassinated. But here's what will make your blood boil. While the hitman got life in prison, the man who planned everything served barely a year behind bars. Is this justice? Or is this exactly how killers escape consequences? Stay with us as we uncover the full story of Courtney Owens' murder and expose the shocking plea deal that let a mastermind walk free. Courtney Owens was living what many would consider the American dream. At 34 years old, she was a successful businesswoman who co-owned Royal Court Motors, a thriving used car dealership in the bustling community of Snellville, Georgia.
Bad credit, it's all okay. We got new inventory in the front. Check us out at www.royalcourtmotors.com. All of our inventory is listed. We look forward to speaking with you.
Don't get robbed by the bank. We got you. We taking care of you right here at Royal Court Motors. We're right on the corner of Centerville Highway and Anniston Road in Snellville, across from the QT, and we neighbors with Walmart. Come out and see us today.
Check us out. Royal Court Motors, baby.
But Courtney wasn't just a savvy entrepreneur. She was also a devoted mother to her 12-year-old son, the center of her universe. Everything she did, every business decision she made, every late night she spent at the dealership was for him. She wanted to build something that would secure his future and give him every opportunity in life. For several years, Courtney had been in a relationship with her business partner, 41-year-old Stony Williams. They seemed like the perfect power couple. Two ambitious people building an empire together. Stony was charming, successful, and appeared to genuinely care for both Courtney and her son. To the outside world, they had it all. But like so many relationships that look perfect from the outside, cracks had begun to show. Behind closed doors, things between Courtney and Stony had become strained. The woman who had once been so in love was beginning to see a side of her partner that terrified her. Courtney had made two life-changing decisions that would ultimately seal her fate. First, she wanted to end her romantic relationship with Stony. While she was willing to remain friends, she no longer wanted to be his girlfriend. Second, and perhaps more importantly, she wanted out of the car business entirely. She was ready to start fresh, to build something new for herself and her son. These decisions should have been simple. People break up every day. Business partnerships dissolve all the time. But for Stony Williams, Courtney's choices represented something much more threatening. They represented a loss of control that he simply could not accept. What Courtney didn't know was that Stony had been monitoring her every move. He had been tracking her phone, following her activities, and keeping tabs on her personal life in ways that went far beyond what any normal ex-boyfriend would do. She was beginning to feel like a prisoner in her own life, constantly looking over her shoulder, never knowing when Stony might appear. In the days leading up to December 9th, 2022, Courtney had confided in friends about her fears. She told them about strange incidents, about feeling watched, about her phone acting strangely, about Stony knowing things he shouldn't know about her private activities. But even in her worst nightmares, she could never have imagined how far Stony would go to keep her under his control. If he couldn't have Courtney, then he would make sure no one could have her. He reached out to a young man named Wesley Vickers, known on the streets as Draco, a 23-year-old with a criminal background who was desperate for money. Stony presented Draco with what seemed like an easy payday. For $15,000, all Draco had to do was walk into the dealership and make it look like a robbery gone wrong. Stony even had the perfect cover story. He would be away from the dealership, running errands, completely removed from the scene when it happened. Stony's instructions were specific and brutal. He wanted Courtney dead. December 9th, 2022. As Courtney prepared to meet with Stony that afternoon to finalize their business separation and collect the $15,000 he had promised her to start over, she was walking directly into a trap that had been months in the making. Before we get too deep, Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. At exactly 2:29 p.m., Courtney Owens walked into Royal Court Motors for what she believed would be a routine business meeting. She was there to collect the $15,000 that Stony had promised her. Just minutes before Courtney arrived, a tall, slim man dressed entirely in black had entered the dealership. He wore a COVID mask that concealed his face and carried a rifle slung across his body. To the customer waiting inside, a man who was there to purchase a car, the masked figure initially looked like he might be security or someone with legitimate business there. But something felt wrong.
Right there on the chair, I was sitting by waiting for the owner.
Yeah.
He said he'll be here in 15 minutes. The guy came in, he just went straight to the back, got on a rifle going across his chest.
Like slung across his
Like, looked professional. Thought
Yeah.
he was in security or something.
Okay. Would he have any like thing on his face or anything?
Yeah, he had a COVID mask.
The atmosphere in the dealership shifted the moment this mysterious figure appeared. The customer, still waiting for the owner to finalize his paperwork, watched nervously as the masked man made his way toward the back of the dealership, moving with purpose and deadly intent. When Courtney entered the building, she was completely unaware of the danger lurking just feet away. She was focused on her phone call.
And then a female, she came in 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
She was just standing right here at the desk on the phone.
She walked toward the back of the dealership and called out a name that would become crucial to the investigation.
2 minutes later, she went over there and said Draco or Clayco, called him that, Draco or Clayco.
Yeah.
The masked gunman confronted Courtney.
And then after like 30 seconds or whatever they were talking about, he said, get on the ground. But it was so calm, like it didn't even seem like it was real. And she got on the ground, and then I heard a shot.
The witness heard a single, devastating gunshot ring out. The sound was so shocking that he immediately fled the building, running across the street to safety.
I almost got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Trying to go to safety.
Did you see where he went?
No, I didn't look back behind.
What did he look like?
He was tall, slim, black, about your height, maybe a little shorter, but black shoes.
But there was another 911 call that day, one that would initially throw investigators off the scent of the real killer. Just minutes after the shooting, Stony Williams called 911, claiming to be Courtney's distraught boyfriend who had discovered her body.
Royal Court Motors, hurry! I need your help. My girlfriend's hurry! Hurry again! She's been shot! Hurry! She's gone, man. I can tell. She's gone.
Stoney's performance was masterful. He sounded genuinely devastated, genuinely shocked by what had happened. When police arrived at Royal Court Motors, they were met with a horrific sight. Courtney lay motionless on the floor, shot once in the right side of her head with a .556 rifle. As paramedics worked frantically to save her life, investigators immediately began canvassing the area for witnesses and evidence. They found the customer who had witnessed the shooting, and his account was chilling. He described the masked gunman in detail and confirmed that Courtney had called out the name Draco just before she was shot. But it was Stoney's interview with police that provided the most shocking revelations. Playing the part of the grieving boyfriend to perfection, he told officers about the breakup, about the $15,000 he was giving Courtney, and most importantly, about a man named Draco who had been asking him for money.
Okay, so tell me the backstory.
We were breaking up, and it was an amicable breakup. We had our ups and downs, but we were coming to a healthy conclusion to the we were being friendly, we were saying we're just gonna be friends. She didn't want to be in the car business anymore, which was fine. And she was like, I need some money to start over my life. And I was like, I just said, I'm gonna give her 15 grand.
Yeah.
My lawyer drew up the paperwork for it and all this stuff. Today, she got here. I don't know exactly what time she got here. I was running some errands. I went to the bank and pulled out the money I was giving her. The notary said he was going to be late. I told her, I said, the notary running late. So I'm stopped to the bank and I'll be there. Coming back from the bank, I FaceTime her. I was like, hey, baby, I'm coming back. I'm on my way now. And I think I heard her say, Draco. And then I heard a gunshot. I was on FaceTime with her. I was down the street now.
Okay.
I kept saying hello. She didn't say nothing back.
Did you hear any male voices or
I
anything?
didn't hear anybody else quiet. I think this is kind of my fault. Draco had been calling me, asking me for money. I told him, I said, look, I don't have it right now. And I usually give it to him. I usually look out for him all the time. And he came up here today. And he tried to sell me a gun. And I was like, I don't want to buy a gun, man. I don't have no money. Then I was like, man, I'm parting ways with Courtney. And they give her this 15 grand. You know, we going our separate ways. He not thinking that he'll do something to hurt you. We family.
How long have you known him?
A couple of years.
Why would he do this?
I think he needed the money.
Do you owe him money?
No. Draco's on the run for some warrants or something like that. He hasn't been able to get a job no more and get no money. So he's been just trying to get money.
But she didn't even have the money yet.
You didn't know that.
What kind of car does he drive?
He don't have a car that I know of.
Does he live nearby?
I don't know where he live at right this second. I have no idea. Like I told you, he on the run.
Do you have cameras and stuff in your business?
Oh, we've had cameras and we got broken into. The people wore masks. They cut all the cameras and messed up everything. And it's no point.
Okay.
Stony explained, appearing to be helpful, while actually laying the groundwork for Draco to take the fall. To the investigating officers, Stony seemed like the perfect grieving boyfriend. He was cooperative, emotional, and seemingly willing to do anything to help catch his girlfriend's killer.
Whatever you guys need money for us to find him, get him, and convict him, I'm with it, bro.
I have to take your phone.
That's fine, too.
Okay.
But some officers had nagging doubts. Something about the case didn't feel right. Why would someone execute a woman in broad daylight and then leave without taking anything? Why was Stony so quick to point fingers at Draco? Why would he give up Draco if he set it up? The investigation took a dramatic turn when a detective from the nearby town of Fairburn reached out with crucial information. She had been investigating a drive-by shooting that occurred just one day before Courtney's murder at the house of one of Courtney's friends, where Courtney had been present earlier that evening. The connection was undeniable. Ballistics tests confirmed that the same rifle used in the drive-by shooting was used to kill Courtney. But this revelation raised even more questions about Stony's involvement. How could this be a simple robbery when the shooter had targeted Courtney the night before? The truth was becoming clear, and the man who stood to benefit most from her death was the same man who was playing the grieving boyfriend, Stony Williams. But investigators still needed the smoking gun, the final piece of evidence that would expose Stony's deadly deception and bring justice for Courtney Owens. As the investigation deepened, detectives began to uncover the sinister web of lies that Stony Williams had carefully constructed. The man who had appeared so grief-stricken, so cooperative, so devastated by his girlfriend's murder was actually the mastermind behind her execution. The breakthrough came when investigators discovered that Courtney had confided in friends about Stony's increasingly disturbing behavior in the weeks leading up to her death. She had told them that Stony was tracking her every move, monitoring her phone, and showing up places where he shouldn't know she would be. Phone records revealed the shocking truth. Someone had cloned Courtney's SIM card, giving them access to all her texts, calls, and location data. When confronted about this, Stony's mask began to slip.
She told the detectives in Fairburn that someone had bought a SIM card, for her phone. Was that you?
It wasn't me, but I know about it.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I don't want to discuss that.
Did Draco do it for you?
No, what? No, what?
Okay.
No.
That's what I was looking for. I was just trying to ask for clarity. Her house or not her house, but a car that she was in got shot up the day before. Well, the shell casings from that scene matched the ones from this scene too. I don't think you had anything to do with the homicide. But I think Draco's your homeboy, and you probably asked him for some help. Was he tracking her for you, kind of being like a PI for you?
No.
Like one of your fact checkers?
No.
Did you have a private investigator with her?
Alright, so, now I see that you're looking at me for stuff.
I want to be able to explain away the suspicion of you. Does that make sense?
But it wasn't me. I wasn't upset with her. We break up and make up all the time. That's what we do. We've been doing it forever and a day.
But the most damning evidence came when Wesley Draco Vickers was finally captured after weeks on the run. Faced with a mountain of evidence against him, including ballistics that linked him to both the drive-by shooting and Courtney's murder, Draco made a decision that would destroy Stony's carefully crafted lies. He confessed everything.
The incident in Fairburn.
Yeah.
Was that you?
Well, listen, but I know y'all think it's me.
Do you know who did it?
Oh,
I've listened to you and I've heard you out. You're leaving some stuff out. Right now is the time for you to come clean because I know you did this. There's nobody else. Half the you told me is, and I can prove it wrong right now. My thing is, why would you do that? Why? You have no motive that I know of. Stony is the only one who has a motive. And then guess what he did? Immediately threw your under the bus. He doesn't care about you. I'm the only one being real with you right now. So, let's start over. Give me the background. What's going on?
you did, man, putting me up under the West. I did go out there to Fairburn. I went and did anything there. Out there in Fairburn. I was told that the client did get shot.
To send the message.
Yeah. And I did get paid to do that. Yeah.
To do what?
To do it just to go on Courtney.
Who paid you?
Stony paid me. I come to the dealership. And when I talked to Stony, he was crying, like basically crying and jumping. He like, man, we can't do this. I guess she was going to sue. Press charges, so I don't really know. It's not 30,000.
This was a cold-blooded murder-for-hire scheme orchestrated by the man who claimed to love Courtney most. According to Draco's confession, Stony had hired him to kill Courtney for $15,000, the same amount of money Stony was supposedly giving her to start her new life. But Stony had made one critical error in his planning. A former employee came forward to expose another one of his lies.
Well, I'm Detective Carter. Thank you for coming out here.
So it was cameras everywhere. He made me charge batteries every week, so I know there was cameras. He took them down.
Did you work the day before?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So that day, the cameras were still there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you came back to work the day after the incident. And did you notice that the cameras weren't there that day?
I definitely noticed they weren't there. Yeah. He wanted me to lie and say there was no camera, that we never had cameras.
The security cameras that could have captured the murder had been systematically disabled by Stony himself on the morning of December 9th. He had also instructed his employee to lie to police, telling her, if the police come in, say no comment and to contact your attorney. More disturbing evidence emerged from Courtney's phone records. On the night of the drive-by shooting, Stony had contacted her multiple times and even visited her apartment, recording himself on video.
I come here looking for comfort after all we've been through. And you're not even here. Really, babe, you got me out here knocking, and you're not even here.
When investigators finally moved to arrest Stony Williams, they discovered he had fled. The grieving boyfriend act was over. He had packed up and disappeared. For 3 long months, Stony evaded justice while Courtney's family grieved and demanded answers. But eventually, karma caught up with him. He was arrested while playing golf in Texas, finally brought back to face the consequences of his heinous actions. Wesley Draco Vickers was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He would never see freedom again, paying the ultimate price for allowing himself to become Stony's instrument of death. But in a twist that would leave Courtney's family devastated and the community outraged, Stony Williams managed to escape the full weight of justice. In March 2024, he entered a plea deal for conspiracy to commit murder. His sentence? A mere 10 years. with 11 months already served in jail, followed by just 1 year of house arrest, and the remainder served on probation. This meant that the man who orchestrated the cold-blooded murder of his girlfriend, the mother of a 12-year-old boy, would essentially walk free after serving barely more than a year behind bars. The injustice was staggering. While the trigger man would spend his life in prison, the mastermind, the man who planned every detail, who manipulated and deceived everyone around him, who destroyed a family out of pure greed and control, would be free to rebuild his life. This case exposes the darkest side of human nature. How love can transform into obsession, how control can escalate to murder, and how a man's inability to accept rejection can cost an innocent woman her life. She trusted Stony Williams with her heart, her business, and her future. In return, he gave her a death sentence. Today, Courtney's 12-year-old son grows up without his mother, robbed of her love, her guidance, and her dreams for his future. No amount of justice could ever bring her back, but the lenient sentence given to her killer adds insult to the most devastating injury a family could endure. Courtney Owens deserved to live. She deserved to see her son graduate, to build the new life she had planned, to find real love with someone who would cherish rather than destroy her. Her story serves as a chilling reminder that the greatest danger often comes from those closest to us, and that when love turns to obsession, the consequences can be fatal. I hope this story helps you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode of Crime of Passion. Thank you for watching.